girl, Mara Maloba. I'm your girl, Mara Maloba. Good morning. How you guys doing? It is definitely a beautiful day because it's the first of the month. February. We are definitely here. We have seen you. We recognize you. We appreciate you 100%. How's your new month started off? Of course, everybody's about that. This is that month for, what's it called? The month of love, the month that commercial and what's it called, corporates make a lot of money. Your hotels, your card makers, your flower people, this is the time for them to make their coins, okay? Because it's all about that expression of love. But expression of love is not only flowers and chocolates and teddy bears and trips and 1 million helicopter rides. It's also just the little things to just make somebody feel like they're loved and appreciated. It's not also not only for your loved one, it's also for the person you just hold dear. It could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be your friend, it could be your children. Just show some love this month, even to somebody you don't know. Okay, not in a stalkerish way, but just somebody you don't know, and just show them that they matter, that you care, and that you're there for them. What is your expression of love? I would love to know. What is that one thing you do that you can do for somebody else to make them feel a little better, to make them know that they're loved? Please hit me up on +254 788 380 0030, and on Icon Radio KE platforms across the board. That is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also youtube.com// at Icon Radio KE, where we are currently live. Yes. Our hashtags are the Breakfast Jam, Afropunk Queen, Icon Radio, and Icon Radio KE. And you can hit me up personally on Yar Fox on Instagram, Twitter at Maloba. If you follow, I will follow back. As are the last guys that followed me. They have testimonies. All right, let's get into the weather real quick. Going into 8 a.m. In Nairobi, mostly sunny, 20 degrees, humidity at 62%. It's still going to be a sunny day. In Mombasa, 25 degrees, mostly sunny, humidity at 83%. It's going to get hot, real hot for you guys, because come 1 p.m., 33 degrees. Yeah, that's really something. And in Kisumu, 21 degrees, mostly sunny, humidity at 62%. And it's going to get fairly hot for you guys as well. No, pretty hot. Up to highs of 32 degrees. But remember, no matter where you are, no matter the weather, you'll always have a great day with Icon Radio. All right, well, on that first day of the month vibe, we're getting straight into it. When we come back, we'll be looking at the news making the headlines today. And remember, this is all about that Wellness Wednesday. So we have a very special guest in studio. So stand by for that. Let's get into it right now. Classic hits with JLo right there. If you have my love, right, playing right here on the Breakfast Jam. I'm your girl, Maya Malou with the Afro Punk Queen. Always about your throwback therapy. So let's get straight into the news making the headlines today. All right, it has been revealed that Magoha tried to resign twice from Uhuru's cabinet. Now, former Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha contemplated resigning on at least two occasions during his 3.5 years at Jogo House, underlining his reputation as perhaps the most principled of the ministers that served in the Uhuru Kenyatta administration. One of the incidents which made Professor Magoha, who died last week, hand his resignation was over the decision by the University of Nairobi to appoint Stephen Kiama as a vice chancellor after the then education cabinet had revoked it through a gazette notice. Now, it was said by Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho that Professor Magoha once wanted to resign, a decision that was made but was later reversed, and he felt like he had been thrown under the bus. I had to call Professor Kiama to the office, and we had a small chat. We called the former principal. Now, Dr. Kibicho spoke when he visited the late Magoha's Nairobi home to condole with the family. What he didn't disclose is that Professor Magoha had also come close to quitting the Uhuru cabinet the previous year. He had sat back, staring at the letter in front of him with detachment. Now, the Education Cabinet Secretary was furious but also flustered. It was in November 2020, and the letter had come from then Chairperson of Public Service Commission, Stephen Kirogo, warning the CS of misdemeanor and stripping him of some roles within the Education Ministry. Professor Magoha was required not only sign the letter, but also to acknowledge its receipt and write back. This came hard on the heels of the incident where the CS had publicly reprimanded the then Uasin Gishu County Director of Education, Gitonga Mbaka, during an inspection of Langas Primary School in Eldoret Town. Now, would I be lying if I said you're a fool? The CS had blasted the CDE, triggering outrage in the country, and particularly in the education fraternity. A source privy to the matter says Professor Magoha detractors had seized the opportunity to humiliate him. Details have now emerged of intrigues the past regime where superiority battles, sabotage, humiliation, and competition among senior members of the executive nearly forced out the boorish CS. But even as he swore not to engage Mr. Kirogo, Professor Magoha contemplated complying and signing the letter. He was a man under siege. He was one of the people who had interacted with him in the aftermath of the TIFF, and Professor Gisharu had visited Professor Magoha to discuss the reopening of the medical training facilities in the country to boost the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. So amid the gloom, Professor Magoha still was passionate for education and was eager to see medical schools reopened. Now, if you remember, Professor Magoha used to just reprimand people in public, openly, without holding back. And some people applauded it because there needed to be a lot of reforms in the education system. But also some people were like, listen, you don't air out your dirty laundry and let guys know what's happening in the background. So of course, a lot of people were okay with it, but a lot of people do not prescribe to his particular way of doing things. And it was very, very public. I remember there was a video once which is circulating where, I think he was doing tree planting in a school. The time when he was doing his famous school rounds, which I think ate up about 8 million shillings. And he chased away a teacher and said, don't come next to me, you smell of changa. In the full view of the public. So a lot of guys are like, yes, tell him off. A lot of people are like, listen, you could have taken him to the side and talked about it later. So yes, whether you liked him or not, he did his thing. He did his reforms. He tried what he could, and clearly it was amongst a lot of tension within the government. But he is right now being celebrated for who he was and the mark that he made in the education system. All right. Now, there is the case, and I'm hearing about it today. I had no idea about an abducted Egerton University student who was rescued in Ruiru. Now, an Egerton University student who was kidnapped 5 days ago has been rescued by the DCI detectives from Ruiru and Nakuru. Ms. Daisy Chebet Barno, a fourth-year student, was abducted by three men at Kabarak in Nakuru County on Thursday, and she was later driven to Nairobi. Simon Akuteka, who's 39, John Mbao, who's 38, Elijah Shege, who is 31, and Faith Mwende were arrested at an Airbnb apartment in Ruiru. According to a post on Twitter by DCI, Miss Chebet's friend, Faith Mwende, conspired with her boyfriend and other accomplices to kidnap her and demand a ransom from her family. On the day she was kidnapped, Miss Chebet was invited for lunch at Kabarak by Miss Mwende's boyfriend, identified as Mr. Akuteka. Once the two were in the car, Mr. Akuteka drove towards Kabarak to pick up a parcel. However, along the way, they were joined by two men. The three informed Miss Chebet that they had kidnapped her and demanded 600,000 shilling ransom from her family. The three drove to Ruiru to Odia restaurant, where they booked a two-bedroom Airbnb and locked Miss Chebet in one of the bedrooms. Mwende, who had joined them, took the other bedroom, where they made merry with her partner after Miss Chebet sent 50,000. However, detectives who had received a distress call from Miss Chebet's family chased the four who operated between Thika, Muranga, Kajiado, and Ruiru. Now, detectives based at the Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau pounced on the four in the rented apartment. The suspects defied orders to surrender and engaged officers in a fist fight. Preliminary investigations have revealed that Mr. Akuteka, the prime suspect, is a fugitive who has several car theft cases pending before the courts in Nairobi and Kisumu. Mr. Mbao, too, has similar cases pending before several courts. Ms. Chebet was rescued during the raid by detectives from Nakuru and Ruiru. During arrest, a sellotape, a rope, mobile phones, SIM cards, and identity cards were recovered from the suspects. Hey, my friends, if you look at the pictures of these guys, like for real, they got into a fist fight with the police. It's very, very unfortunate that it actually somebody can turn on you, but at the same time, how do you go into a fist fight with the police? Ah, man. Now, moving on to the last story of this particular hour. Now, this is a case of fraudsters swindling family, friends, and millions of job seekers. So please beware. Now, there's a case study of one Lydia Momanyi who did not hesitate to send an application when a friend she'd known for many years reached out with an interesting job opening, accompanying it with a surety that her chances of getting it were extremely high. She quickly updated her CV, drafted a cover letter, gathered scanned copies of her certificates, and sent them to an email and the friend had shared, which was supposed to be a self-hosted Red Cross Kenya address. The following day at about noon, she received a call from a woman who only introduced herself as Mary. She said she was the human resource officer in charge, and she was in charge of the recruitment process and was pleased with the CV Lydia had sent. She wanted her to start the following week. To complete the recruitment process, she had asked Lydia to send clear certificates from the Police Credit Reference Bureau, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Kenya Revenue Authority, and the Higher Education Loans Board. She had none of them, yet they were needed in less than 2 hours. To quickly see the deal, Mary offered to link Lydia to a staffer at Huduma Center in Nairobi to help her get the documents within an hour. forwarded them for confirmation of employment to her employer or potential employer. At that point, she'd been told her starting salary would be 120,000 per month. Sure enough, she received a phone number via text message, which, when dialed, was identified by the Truecaller app as Mercy Huduma. She had no doubts whatsoever. Then came the shocker. Mercy told her that all the documents would cost her 10,000 and she'd have to pay up front. If she had the money, Lydia would have paid without any hesitation, because until that moment, everything added up and made perfect sense. You see that indeed, the Employment Act amended last year restricts employers not to only seek clearance certificates from individuals they intend to employ, and Lydia was well aware of this fact. However, having graduated in 2019 and still without any meaningful employment, she was too desperate to let the opportunity slide. But what she didn't know is that apart from the police clearance certificate, which would actually take at least 2 weeks to get, all the required documents are freely available online. Now, out of panic, Lydia called a tech-savvy friend to see if he could help her get some of the documents to cut down the cost. The friend then asked for the email address to which she had sent her application. That is when they realized the website hosting the email was not the official Red Cross website, but an imitation. And instead of the official Red Cross.or.ke, the email was hosted at redcrosskenya.org. Disappointed and disheartened, she decided to forget about the job and didn't care to ask the friend who referred her if she really knew the person he'd referred her to. Barely a month later, her friend Valeria Mondi nearly got swindled in a similar fashion. Now, it is said that this is a technique that fraudsters are now using to deceive job seekers, and the main strategy is to eliminate doubt by getting people and get them to trust, get people who they trust to refer them, and then entice them with hefty salary promises. Now, while both Lydia and Valerie were lucky enough to detect the fraudulent schemes before losing money, several job seekers have fallen victim to these cons and lost thousands of shillings. So this has been an advice to people: do your fact checking. Find out if, for real, these companies are indeed what they seem to be, if the emails check out, if indeed the companies are looking for jobs. Because all you have to do is go to a company website, go to careers, see that the jobs that are on offer, go to viable websites that actually, put out jobs, or LinkedIn are constantly putting out jobs. But even with that happening, you still need to do your due diligence. Let me tell you what happened to me once upon a time. When I was looking out of school and I was, doing my thing and I was trying to seek independence from my parents. Yes, that happened. Somebody reached out to me and was like, listen, we've seen you through this and this person, and we know such and such. And she gave us your number, and she's currently under our modeling company, and she referred you, and we thought you'd be a good fit. So I go and meet the guy in town. We go and meet at Pizza Inn. He buys us, me and my friend, because that time you have to go with a friend. You have to go with somebody who you would like to have you vet that person. So we met with this person. He bought us food. He bought us, soft drinks. We had a conversation and we were good to go. He said, you're perfect for the job. There's a job for Coke and they're looking for models to do a commercial. And you look like you have the confidence and the looks to match. I was like, sold, 100%. So when we met the next day, my friend was supposed to be accompanying me, but she decided she's not going to be able to make it because she has to do something for her parents, something other, whatever. So I meet with this guy and we meet at Simmers. Red flag number 1. And I was supposed to be meeting with the agency reps, but I didn't think at the time that this was anything wrong. So he claims to be waiting for the person. The person is not coming through. He's like, okay, fine, let me try and call the person. He's like, but I don't have credit right now. Could you help me with your phone? I put in credits. Then I go and call this person. So that time I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, this thing is running late. Why is this? I should be, getting this job by now. It's fine. I trusted the guy. I gave him my phone, and that's the last I saw of him. He left me with, files on the table. I didn't even look through the files to see what was in there. I thought he was legit. When time was going and this guy was not coming back, and I wasn't seeing my phone, I opened the file to see magazine clippings. Magazine clippings. Till today, I kick myself. I tried calling the guy, tried finding out where my phone was, tried to find out where he was. He did not pick up the phone. He was nowhere to be seen. I go and drink my sorrows away with my friends, only to find out that he's a known con artist. So, yes, moral of the story, fact check all the time before you accept to do something for a job. Even that meeting, before you set up that meeting, do your due diligence. Check out LinkedIn, check out Google, check out Facebook, check out all your sources to be able to know whether something is legit or not. All right. On that note, we're going exactly into the next hour, and we're going to be talking about humanizing parents with Tazim Elkington. You can weigh into the conversation on our WhatsApp number and our Icon Radio KE social handles. This is bound to be interesting, so keep it right here for more on that.
Kumbe ni under 18 ana Paulina juu raundi si mchezo ni genge mpaka che kama hujashikanisha ni nani basi we ni under 18 au sio au ndio unanipata Icon Radio your number one entertainment plug. Mzee hadi na hizo doba zote we kazi yako ni kuzirequest tu au sio au ndio ndo radare safire. Icon Radio your number one entertainment plug. Jim aka Jim Weezy. Do it this thing hard lakini tunaifanya look easy. Hii track inanichangamsha na vile nilikuwa nimechoka.
Yes, we are into third hour of the show. I'm your girl Marimelo with the Afropunk Queen at Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug. We are streaming live on www.iconradio.co.ke as well as youtube.com/at Icon Radio. Tune in and weigh in, and of course, subscribe to that channel. And of course, also, well, just share our website. Yes, today we do have in studio with us Miss.
Yes.
What is it going, Miss Tazim Elkington. I was told last year to always keep it neutral because you never know. But yes, we have Miss Tazim Elkington. I am so honored to have you in studio. I think I've been following your work for the last 2 or 3 years since we connected. It has been amazing to see what you do. Of course, we are going to be talking about humanizing parents.
Yes.
It's been a deep conversation since I think last year. There's a day an intern walked into the office. She was walking in a huff, and she was like, "Listen, the next time you're having a conversation, talk about toxic parents." And then she went and sat down.
Wow.
And that's exactly what we covered. There's a lot uncovered in regards to that. And then coincidentally, the week after, your post comes up, and there's a lot of comments under that. And we'll sample some of that later on in the show today. But of course, we just want to get to know a little bit about who you are before we get started. Would you rather I read out, or would you rather just kind of like introduce yourself? Right?
No, please go ahead, Mara. Please go ahead and talk about me. I prefer that than talking about myself.
Well, first of all, you have been named by the New York Journal. That's a New York Journal, New York City Journal.
Yes.
The top 10 life coaches to look out for in 2023. Congratulations.
Thank you. I just got that notification yesterday.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot of back and forth and interviews and questions and Q&As.
Oh, wow.
And so I am delighted to be part of a niche group of people that are recognized for the work they do.
World over.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Done. So Tazim Elkington is an evolutionary disruptor, a hypnotherapist, regression and talk therapist, speaker, and a 21st century authentic leadership trainer who has established herself firmly as one of the top names in the field of personal development. She has also become a recognizable name in broadcasting and publishing, and frequently speaks on TV and writes in the local dailies. Hailing from humble beginnings and growing through sheer resilience, curiosity and faith, Tazim's passion for sharing her knowledge and insights stem from her innate curiosity to understand herself first in order to do that with others.
Yes.
Wow. Now, thanks to her early experiences, she thrives on her natural ability to communicate with others, a strong, almost psychic intuition about the human spirit, and the knack to have the off-the-cuff conversations that makes Tazim an unforgettable encounter. This has made Tazim a person who is controversial and different in her approach. Her advocacy for progressive societal change has extended her compassion to individuals, groups, and businesses in Africa and beyond. From boardrooms to the slums, her powerful message speaks of freedom, balance, integrity, action, and endless fulfilled potential, and continues to reach out to individuals and groups from all walks of life. Amazing stuff. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You said you've been doing this for how long?
So I think I've been doing this most of my life.
Right.
However, focused is, I started in Canada when I was living there. I lived there for 9 years.
Okay.
And then when I got back, it just took a life of its own, which was in 2009.
Right.
So I'd say I've been doing this for 14 years concertedly.
Now, in a very conventional society, which is Kenya, how is it coming in and starting off into this unconventional way of, as you say, it's controversial. You come
Yes.
out as controversial and different in your approach. How was it received?
It was received differently. Uh, there were a lot of people who thought I'm completely off my head. Because what am I talking about? They couldn't even understand the language. They couldn't understand where I was going with it. And
Right.
I was just also, treading new waters. So, and there were many who were very open to it.
Right.
As conventional as we think we are as Kenyans, we're not.
That's
there's
true.
there's there's the human spirit. If we go beyond the layers of identification, well, Kenyans, or generalizing as well, you'll find that we have a percentage of population that are very open, that are very expressive, that are searching for something different, because what has been done and what was is no longer working for them.
That's true. Like, there's always talk about the Gen Z. Gen Z are very expressive. Gen Z are more aware. Gen Z are more in touch with their feelings, and therefore they will tell you what they like and don't like. And they try to also navigate from, what their parents have tried to like completely put into their system.
Yes.
Now, that's where it comes into the topic of now humanizing parents. Now, there are questions you actually brought up when we got talking about it.
Yes.
Specific questions that I liked. I liked the fact that you actually just brought them in. You got me prepared before even I had to do it myself. I love that.
Thank you.
What does this mean?
Humanizing parents. I think parents have been dehumanized for many generations.
True.
And when I say dehumanized, I mean children put parents on a pedestal. And that has been our human story. The parents are on a pedestal. They have to be looked at. Part of it is also because the child is really small,
Right.
and parents are much bigger. So even the difference in size creates this whole scenario, the stage. And I think it's time to really start by understanding that parents are human. Parents have all their flaws and faults, and parents are carrying what has been passed down for generations and generations and generations.
Right.
They don't know it. They don't know how to parent. They learn as they start parenting. And you're a young parent, for example.
Right.
You are doing what you think is the best, and you're trying not to make the errors of your parents.
Right.
However, you might go the opposite way, which might be even worse. We don't know. Or you might land somewhere and it might work.
Right.
You see that. So parenting, no matter how many parenting manuals you read, because each child is unique, you cannot box that.
Right.
And so humanizing parents is to understand, first of all, that parents mostly are doing their best. And their best could be your worst. Because you don't agree, because you don't feel that they know what they're doing, or you think they've caused you harm,
Right.
and etc. They've only done or will only do what they know.
Right.
And not many parents are open to start questioning and really going into that whole self-discovery thing. And more parents need to do that. They need to go into themselves, and they need to question whether what they've done and how they've raised their children is okay.
Right.
Yet the most important thing is to understand that there isn't a single parent who hasn't made errors. Not a single one. And so humanizing parents for me is to put them off the pedestal and understand that they're human first.
Right.
And being human first means you're carrying the baggage of thousands of years. And we don't know how to parent. So we learn, it's by trial and error. And we
Right.
make mistakes. And then children get traumatized. That word is, and that word has been overextended in some cases as well. But children feel unfairly treated. Children feel they didn't get what they want, and they become these dissatisfied adults. And that's the story and narrative we need to change.
Right. I like the fact that you said that we don't know how to parent. There is no real manual to parenting. And I
Yes.
think once you realize that first is when now you get to realize what you're doing. Because like even for my son, like he's very expressive. He's 5 years old, he's very expressive, and he's like, I'm very so angry with this, that, and the other. You're like, when did they start speaking like that? And then you look at social media and there are more kids who are, unfortunately expressing their anger in different ways and expressing them from a very young age. So every time I see a temper tantrum from my child, I'm always worried, what is he going to do next? When he goes to lock himself in the room because he's angry, what is he going to do next? So yes, there is no real manual. I think it's a thing of is it a thing of taking it as it comes, day by day?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Because, like I said, every child is different. And what parents tend to do is to treat their children the same, which is what I did. And I think I made quite a few errors there as well. You know how we dress our kids the same, and
Right.
we get them similar stuff, and yet maybe their wants and needs are different.
Right.
We don't understand it. So here is where now with the new kids, and actually we have a completely new breed of children.
Yes.
They are not like you and me, and we are generations apart, okay? However, they are different. They are new kids.
Right.
And I mean, I think it's important for people to understand that these new kids even have names. So go and look at indigo children, rainbow children, star children, crystalline children. There's a whole lot of information on how these new kids are different.
Right.
And there is nothing to do with racial connotation on this, okay? They are being born all over the world. And they come with a different way of seeing, of being.
Right.
And they can't fit into this old mold. You're one of them, okay? And so everyone's trying, the new kids are trying to break out of the old mold. However, it's not going to be so easy because we're in between.
Right.
We have the parents that came with the old mold. We have the new kids that are now being conditioned to try and fit into that old mold. Hence, the many teenage suicides as well, because they can't
Right.
fit in, all the mental health issues coming
Right.
up. So imagine trying to push something into a mold that is completely a different shape from what the new kids are.
Right.
So we need to understand this. So with your kids, you have to take it as it comes. And the most important thing is no violence. Okay, I used to smack my children, and then I stopped at some stage. And by then, I think they were probably
At what
10,
stage?
11.
Okay.
Okay, which I've apologized to them about.
Right.
Because I didn't realize I used to get beaten black and blue, right? So at least I didn't do that to that degree. However, that doesn't make me any better.
Right.
The only thing is I didn't know how to,
get through to them.
and in some way control, because we
Right.
all think we need to control our children.
Right.
And so the most important thing is, especially on our continent, violence is so deeply ingrained. Do not beat your children. Do not abuse them. Do not tell them that they are useless and that they're not good enough. Do not tell them these stupid things, because you've already prepared them for therapy.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Tell them things that are going to empower them, grow them healthily, learn to have conversations, ask questions. Your children can tell you things that you will be shocked to hear.
Right.
So have conversations, ask questions, give them time and space. I'm even learning that now, even though my kids are much older, they're asking for time and space in different ways, was something I didn't fully comprehend.
Right.
And I'm still learning. And I'm learning through my grandchildren. So it's really important not to use any old models to raise your current children.
Right. Now, you brought up this topic on your socials and it became a huge topic of discussion. So So why are we discussing this, especially now?
Because what is life about? What is life about? Life is that we are human. We are born. We go through the script, and I hope people are coming out of the script. You know, you go to school, you go to high school, you go to college, or you go to uni, you meet a person, you get married, you have children. This is what life is. This is the story of our lives.
Right.
Okay? However, it doesn't have to be the same narrative, for one thing. There are people opting not to have children. There are people opting not to get married.
Right.
So we are changing the narrative because that old narrative is out of date. All right? However, procreation and having children is part of our human story, right?
Right.
So if we don't start to question and address at a holistic level how much distortion and damage there is within our psyches,
Right.
we cannot create a new humanity. We cannot create new humanity, and whether we like it or not, it's time to understand this new kids and these new generations are not going to behave the way people did 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Absolutely.
Does that answer your question?
No, that's true. There are people I know who have chosen not to have children because they don't want to continue that generational trauma, as you said. People don't really understand the word trauma, but they don't want to continue because they feel like they would do the same to their kids if indeed they had any. So I think it's that understanding that people are having now that that's why they're making these decisions, an understanding of what they want and what they would want for, even if they were to have kids eventually. Yeah, I think, yes, you've explained it well, but I think it goes deeper, a bit deeper than what we've discussed right now.
Our human story is flawed.
That's true.
So we have to really look at the flaws and change it.
Especially here in Kenya. Here in Kenya, I think we discussed about this earlier, from just the colonial period and how we were meant to be seen as humans and how we were being treated and how it now filtered into our homes, and then it became the norm. Yeah. When you look at punishment and people talk about punishment in the Kenyan structure, it's normalized. Violence is normalized. Yeah. And that leads to the next question. A generational baggage that each of us is carrying. What is that? And how many generations will it go into? Because let me tell you, a lot of us are just carrying a lot of these stories, and it's weighing heavily on a lot of the people.
So generational baggage cannot be described or determined because we can't go back in time to 200 years ago to figure out what our lineage was doing 200 years ago. Right? So we don't know. The only thing we do know is we're carrying layers and layers and layers of generational baggage. And what is this generational baggage? The generational baggage comes from all the different eras and periods. It comes from the colonized part. It comes from the patriarchal, and then the colonized patriarchal. When you combine it, it's even more. It comes from our racial discrimination. It comes from our gender discrimination. It comes from all the biases we're carrying.
Right.
All these biases are part of our generational baggage. All these distorted beliefs about who we are and what we stand for are so distorted. When we say Kenyan, we actually don't have a Kenyan description. And why do I say we don't have a Kenyan description? Because even if you take two people from the same tribe and ask them a question, you'll get two different answers.
Right.
So if you take it across and say, ask the same question to the same 20 in the same tribe, you will still get 20 different answers. So what is being Kenyan? Right? And with all the corruption and the greed and the you know where greed comes from. Greed comes from the fact that we have gone through such poverty, and so the flip side of poverty is greed. Like it'll never be enough. All these are part of our generational baggage, and we can't seem to stop. And how do we stop? We can only stop by examining, starting that self examining process, one person at a time.
Right.
To answer your question.
Sort of, but
Yeah.
we'll take a small break. It's again, it's just, it's that thing of understanding just exactly why everybody trying to understand why exactly certain things happen. But like you said before, we can't go back. We can't exist in the past. We can only look for how we can move forward, right? Knowing what we know, especially.
Yes.
So there's still a lot of questions. And probably even we'll leave it open to other people to also ask as well. But we'll take a small break and then we'll come back as we continue to talk about humanizing parents. Keep it right here. If you have any questions for Tazim, please hit us up on our WhatsApp number. That's +254 788 380030, or on any of the social media platforms. That's Icon Radio K across the board. The lines are open, so keep it here for more on this conversation on Wellness Wednesdays.
Yes. There's so many layers. You can only talk about so much.
I'm first of all, I'm just loving the conversations even off air. It's just, it's relieving to know that you're not alone.
Yes.
That you're not alone. That there's somebody else who probably could have gone through the same or had the same thoughts, and that it's okay. And that it's okay. Um, um, so we were talking about just right now about the aspect of, first of all, for those who have just joined in, we're talking about humanizing parents, that parents are indeed human as we are, that we need to get from that place of understanding where we understand that they're human first before they're even parents, and that sometimes mistakes can be made. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about toxic parenting, a lot of it. I think your post on Facebook was kind of like rooted around that, or the conversation that came under that was rooted around that.
Yes.
And when we were on the break, we were talking about parents who kind of like are coming from an aspect of revenge. What was done to them, now they want to do to their own.
Well, not parents, the kids. So
Okay,
the
the
adult
kids, yes. Yes.
The adult kids also then try to make their parents pay
Mhm.
for their disrupted childhoods and distorted childhoods.
Right.
And that is, if there is a God uh, in heaven and hell and whatever anyone believes in,
Right.
you are not going to get far if you try to make your parents pay for their mistakes.
Mm,
The one thing I say is humanizing parents also requires that you always uphold your parents with a level of respect, because without them you wouldn't exist.
true.
So
Very
we
true.
do have a chain, and do not make your parents pay for your mistakes. If anything, you can have conversations, understanding you cannot change the past, but stop the blame,
Right.
because the blame is not going to change anything.
Right.
What every adult child needs to do today
Mm-hmm.
is to reconsider and start their own examination, self-examination process, so that they can break away from a lot of those beliefs, the distorted behavior, distorted attitude, distorted stuff that hurt them, so
Mm,
that they don't transfer it to their children or their nieces, their nephews, or whatever,
right.
okay? Or into their environment. We have to change the narrative. That is the responsibility of every adult. Change the narrative. You have to stop the blame game. It is enough.
Is that saying of hurt people hurt people? Do you believe in that?
Hurt people, yes. However, they have the responsibility to stop their hurt so that they can stop hurting others.
Right.
All the issues we have in relationships come from our childhood,
Mhm.
because we haven't seen our parents. Let's just go back to that narrative again, humanizing parents. How many of us Kenyans, I'm being generic and there's a reason for it, how many of us Kenyans grew up in an environment where two parents loved each other and were present? Oh my goodness, there is no answer to that question, because we will maybe get a handful, if that.
Great.
There was so much violence between our parents that we haven't even looked at how
Facts.
much distortion there was between the two adults that were raising these children.
Mm,
So how far does that go back?
mm,
And then we go and if we bring in polygamy into the mix, we bring in men who go drinking, because
Right.
alcohol is another colonized thing, and it's also part of our natural habitat.
mhm.
So
Religion
drinking-
also
yes, religion.
is a source of control also in marriages.
Then you bring in other women,
Mm-hmm.
and then the absent father syndrome.
Right.
Then the woman starts to go to work, and the absent mother syndrome.
Mm.
So have children been raised, or have they just brought themselves up? Me, I remember bringing myself up. Huh?
I think it really is dependent on what you perceive it to be. Because for parents, they think they put a roof over your head, they were a good parent. They put food on your table, they were a good parent. They paid for your fees, they were a good parent. For them, that is what they showed as love. But also, a lot of girls and boys didn't know how to act socially. They were sent out into the world and they didn't know how to behave because their parents didn't talk to them about sex. The word was AIDS is real. That's it. That's a conversation. That's a sex talk. Or you can't be poor. Therefore, you have to do this and this and this is to get to this point. And if you don't, you're disappointing your family, you're disappointing, you're bringing shame upon your home. Those are the things, apart from it being physical, is also mental. And a lot of guys right now who are trying to attain that certain place in society have had that being carried with them, that if they don't follow a certain path, they're letting down their family and therefore letting down their parents.
And so it's all based on this competition,
Right.
comparison factor.
Right. You advise new parents, parents who are trying to figure and maneuver their way through this whole thing and try to do life at the same time.
So first of all, please, dear parents, mother and father, be on the same team. Because these little children, these new little children, will manipulate you out of your nose if you're not careful,
Right.
because they know how to do that.
Mm,
Okay, all children know how to do that.
mm,
So first of all, parents must be on the same team,
right.
and they must speak the same language. So it doesn't matter which parent the child goes to, they're saying the same thing. So
Mhm.
first of all, be on the same team.
Mhm.
Secondly, be present. Thirdly, learn to converse, ask questions. Fourthly, learn to negotiate. Fifthly, start to understand your children by asking questions.
Right.
Do not compare your children, do not put them down, and do not do what was done unto you. But don't also go the opposite way where you have no discipline and no, everything is okay. You
Mm,
have to have some discipline.
right.
So those are the suggestions I would give to start with.
Mm,
And please be with your children, because you only have so many years with them before you say goodbye.
right.
Honestly, by the time now kids are 8, 9, 10, 11, you're saying goodbye.
Mm,
So you decided to have children, take responsibility and do your inner work. Start your self-examination process.
right. Self-examination.
And go for therapy. Therapy. Everybody in the world needs therapy.
Everyone. There is no person who has it right in this world. No one person. Ah, thank you so much, Tazim. And where can people find you? Because this is what you do. Where can they find you in case they want to connect with you?
So my contacts are on tazim.net, tazim.net. And I don't give free advice, so don't call me for free advice per
Right.
se, because I just don't have the time or the capacity.
Yes.
I work on my own. So if you really want to do the inner work, then contact me.
Okay.
Contact me on social media. I do a lot of posts, so connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and you'll see that my conversations are all about progressive evolution, because we can talk about evolution, we can talk about change, and not all of it is forward.
Right.
So we need to start moving forward. And so my posts, the stories I share, and experiences are about how to move from A to B.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not rocket science, I assure you.
Great. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So be sure to follow Tazim Elkington on Facebook. That's on Facebook, yes? Instagram, the same as well.
And LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn as well. All right. Thank you. I wish we could go into the next hour, but only asked you for a certain time. But welcome once again to the Breakfast Jam. It's been an amazing conversation through and through. It's been an honor having you here. And of course, we'll be following to see what more advice you'll be dropping over on your pages, because they are very, very valuable.
Thank you so much, Myra, for giving me the opportunity to come and have this conversation. I
100%.
so appreciate it. And
Yes.
so lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. If you want to catch this conversation again, it will be available on YouTube after the show. So be sure to watch out. I mean, look for it and just to watch what we've been discussing today. All right, we're going into the third hour where we're all about your requests. All you have to do is hit me up on that WhatsApp number and on Icon Radio K social platforms. And I will definitely play you what you want to listen to because you are our bosses. It's all about that dancehall Wednesdays right here at Icon Radio, number one entertainment plug. If you're all about that whining and dining, just know that this is the place you need to be right now as we finish off this hour. Remember, we're all about your requests. All you have to do is hit me up on +254 788-380030, and I got you covered. We're also live on www.iconradio.co.ke and youtube.com/iconradioke. Hit up any of our platforms to send in those requests. We got you covered. All right, going into the weather, that is going into 10 a.m. 23 degrees, mostly sunny in Nairobi, humidity at 52%. It's gonna go up to highs of 30 degrees in Nairobi, my friends. Today is gonna be a hot day. In Mombasa, mostly sunny, 29 degrees, humidity at 66%. Also looking like it's going to be a hot day as well for you guys, as it will go up to highs of 33 degrees. And in Kisumu, 26 degrees going to 10 a.m., mostly sunny, humidity at 46%. It looks like it's going to get hot for you guys as well. Going into about 3 p.m., we'll be hitting highs of 32 degrees. But remember, no matter where you are, no matter the weather, you will always have a great day with Icon Radio. All right. Again, my lines are completely open. We are taking in your requests. Let me know what you'd like to listen to. Let me know what you would like to get played, and I will honor your requests. Just hit me up. And if you don't remember that number, just head on over to our YouTube channel, and you'll see right there as we are live, the number pasted right there on the screen. So send your requests in. We'll be posting the conversation we've had with Tazim, the amazing conversation we've had with Tazim today in regards to humanizing parents. And if you would like a part 2, be sure to let us know. Just hit me up and let me know, and we can organize that, because I know there are many questions in regards to that particular topic, and for sure a lot of guys have a lot to, just let go of or try to understand. So if you love a part 2, let me know, and for sure we'll organize it with the amazing Tazim. Let's get back into that music as we go on that dancehall Wednesday vibe right here on Icon Radio. We're all about that dancehall Wednesdays. We had Mr. Vegas with that classic Heads High for that wine session in your office, your home, your car as you go to work. I got you. I got you. All right. If you want to listen to anything in particular, anything at all, let me know. It doesn't have to necessarily be dancehall. You just let me know and I'll play for you as long as it's nice and clean. All right, let's take a quick look at some of the entertainment news that's making the headlines today. Now, Annalisa Muigai cautions fans not to expose private life online. Annalisa has seen the benefits of not parading her private life online. In the Karachi areas, Muigai is advising netizens not to expose their private lives. She took to Instagram to impart this valuable advice that she claims has benefited, has benefited from. Now, this is just a reminder that you can be on social media and not parade your private life online. 2 years of keeping my life private has brought me no peace in my life. 2 years of keeping my life private has brought me peace in my life. I knew I read that wrong. Right. So it has brought her peace. Now she added that in likes, views, and trends are not worth your peace of mind. That's true. Truth is, most of your followers pray for your downfall. You owe no one any explanation. Just do you. That's all. Earlier, she had also posted some advice on how to avoid heartbreak. She said, I hope this time when you see the signs, you don't ignore them. I hope this time when you see a lack of effort, you don't force it, you don't pick up and you just pick up and go. I hope this time you save yourself before you even get damaged. Many responded by relating the caption to her past relationship with singer Ben Paul. Fans begged her to forgive Ben Paul and reconsider giving him another chance. Unfortunately for the Nero Company CEO, her past often returns to social media to expose her private life. A few weeks ago, Annalisa was forced to take to Instagram to call out her ex-husband, Ben Paul, who repeatedly shared little-known details about their past marriage. He recently made remarks about their failed marriage to the extent of telling his followers that he did not enjoy marriage to the businesswoman. This led to a back and forth between them online until Ben Paul wrote a public apology, ending the airing of their dirty linen. Annalisa celebrated her 35th birthday on 9th January, declaring that she was making a new chapter in her life. Now, there are aspects of this which are, relative. Yes, for sure. If you do not want people getting into your life, don't expose it. Don't talk about it. You owe nobody nothing at all. You don't have to tell anybody what's going on in your life if you don't want to. And if you do, it's also okay. If you want to share a happy thing that's happened in your life, it's okay. If you want to share something that is sad, something that's not so nice in your life, it's also okay. If you want to share lessons, that's fine as well. It is your life. It is what you determine for it to be. I always see these posts where guys say, don't talk about your private life. Move in silence. Then don't talk about your business. At the end of the day, it's your business, not their business. If you want to decide to share it, it is totally up to you. You bear the consequences or you gain the praise. It's up to you. Just be able to determine what makes you happy, what is right for your well-being, for your mental health, for you as a person going forward. Because yes, keeping up with social media is very hard. Very hard. Very hard. Maybe I've taken a break once, twice, so I don't fall into the pressures of thinking, what is the next person doing? Why am I not attaining those goals? Why am I not in Paris right now? I cannot. So I decided, let me just take a break, take a little bit of a step back, and then come back when I am fully in the mental space to be able to kind of like just exist with others who might be doing a little bit better than me, okay? Even in marriage, even in raising kids, there's a lot of pressure. If you decide what your social media or social footprint is gonna look like, that is totally up to you. It is yours at the end of the day. All right, let's get back into the music. We'll be back with more news making the headlines and entertainment today. But for now, send in those requests. My line are open and I got you covered. Conscience coming in with Gullah Bubble. Okay, we're all about that dancehall Wednesdays. So we're finishing the last bit of the hour and the last bit of the news as bizarre things are coming out of Bungoma. Hey, what is going on? First of all, yesterday there was a news clipping about, I think, a chief in Vihiga County who has said he is going to now go after all the unmarried men and arrest them. He's asking them to be serious with life. He's saying no more meandering, no more playing around. I want to see you guys serious with your life and settle down with somebody because I'm not going to allow that in my place in Vihiga. Vihiga is not going to be happening like that. To the shock of many, he said he doesn't want bachelors. So this is exactly what it says. Men who are above 25 years old in Vihiga County have been urged to marry or face disciplinary action. This is an order from a Bulonga location chief in Luanda sub-county, Evans Ouya. Now, Ouya, while speaking during the burial of Moses Maina Amasweche, decried the majority of the youth who have attained the age of 25 do not want to marry. He said he will comb his area to ensure all men who are above 25 years old get married for the progress of the society. Listen, first of all, these guys take child rearing very seriously. Producing children is a must. Now, he's taking marriage very seriously. He says, listen, if I see you without anybody by your side, if I see you not married, there'll be disciplinary action taken against you. I surrendered. Now, in more bizarre things coming out of that western area, there is a woman who decided to bite her father-in-law's private parts. What is going on? Now, a man in Mugora County is nursing injuries after his privates were allegedly bitten by his daughter-in-law during a dispute. The 78-year-old, identified as Vincent Baraza, narrates that he intervened in a fight between his daughter-in-law and another woman before this bizarre incident happened. He says he was attacked by one Evelyn Okello, who is the second wife to his son. It was around 4 p.m. I was seated here. It was on the 28th of this month. I was served my dinner by my family. Na nilichelewa kidogo. A video by Citizen Digital shows the man recounting his ordeal at the hands of his cruel daughter-in-law. The man said that he is a widower and so his intended family takes care of him. He says, sina bibi, mtoto aliniletea sapa. Hey, wait, first of all, okay, let me read this. He just said that he doesn't have a wife. He was brought for supper because there are a lot of misspellings over here. And then he picked it up and then he put it, next to him near his seat. Now, somebody else came and was called Wesonga. Now, he started writing. So he was explaining the story. I said, I was sitting here, my food was here, and then Wesonga was here. All right? The discussions as friends were soon cut short by screams from nearby. Kidogo nikasikia kelele kubwa karibu na nyumba na he had noise. Big noise, a lot of noise from a house near him, and he had a lot of noise, and he asked kelele ni ya nini. He wondered what the commotion was about. His curiosity got the better of him, and he went to investigate what this kerfuffle was about. And it was said that his daughter, Nakoti, wanavurugana. So that's the woman and the man are fighting each other. Na another lady also came in between. Na she says amenyang'anywa bwana yake. All right. They quickly ran to the scene of the fight, wondering why his daughter-in-law was involved in a fight over a married man. He says he found when they were just in the midst of it, and he says alikuwa na hasira. Then she took a stone and she hit him on the back, and he fell down. Yeah. Now, and he didn't understand why this daughter-in-law was over there with first ati kifua, alikuwa na kifua mingi. Na of course, to stand up to him as well. Now the 78-year-old man told people that she overpowered him, sat on his chest, and proceeded to bite him. He tried pushing her away, and that's when she took a hold of his trousers and bit his private parts. The old man was rescued by his relatives. Hey, what is going on? What is going on? First of all, he's a 78-year-old man. A 78-year-old man who you pinned down and assaulted. And what made her think of just going straight for his private parts and proceed to have a meal out of them? Let me tell you again, there are a lot of things that are happening in this country that are absolutely bizarre and stranger than fiction. But hey, we are staying away from it.
How far do we have this?
Hey, let us just go back into the music and finish off this hour. We'll be back right after this. We're officially done with the first morning of the month for me right here. It has been the Breakfast Jam. Amazing conversations that we'll be posting later on our YouTube channel. Of course, you would be able to access the links through any of our social media platforms. And of course, just, starting off the month on a high, on an absolute high. Let me know what you guys are planning to do this December. December. Hey, I'm still in December. Where's my problem? Let me know what you'd like to do this February. We just might be able to surprise you. You never know. This year is full of surprises, and it just might happen for you and your loved one, whoever that may be. So be sure to let me know. Send me a message and let me know what you think you should be doing or are planning to doing planning to do, and you never know how far we can come through for you during this Valentine's period. All right, up next we have bass, and we have guests sitting in for this one. It's all about what happens in our communities. We're having people straight from those communities coming in to discuss what exactly they see and what would like to see happen. So stand by for those conversations and great Kenyan music on that show between 10 and 12. And of course, later on tonight we'll be having Pwani Life. So if you're all about that Costarian sound, I got you covered. We got you covered. Icon Radio got you covered. You have asked and asked and asked, and finally we're delivering. So Costarians, be sure to stand by for that, because we're gonna be all about your music between 7 and 9 p.m. tonight. But for now, we're ushering in the people who are going to be doing bass, and of course the entertainment news with our newscasters, that is Myra and Perpetua. All right, stand by and keep it right here for more great entertainment on Icon Radio.